Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Talking Fitchburg on this Friday, October 16th, 2020. Jeremy Crosby here in the TF studios to help out with some meetings this morning, and glad to be here on a Friday as we work into the weekend. Boy, was it cold outside, not just at the Bamlet Barn, but all across Dane County in southern Wisconsin. We definitely got some fun. Do you call it fun, Andrew? That's almost like the perfect response. Yeah, I don't know, Jeremy. Yeah, it was definitely cool this morning, but glad, we had some nice warm temperatures to kick off October, so you can't really complain too much. And
right,
we warned you, or as my daughter says, told you.
Told you. We told you so.
She says that all the time.
Hopefully you covered your plants. That's all we have to say.
Yeah, we brought in our plants.
There you go.
Because we don't want to take a chance. So
Nope.
That's done and done and over with. But I did plant some grass, and I'm a little afraid about that. But fingers crossed, it will be a-okay. We do have a busy show for you today. We're going to get you the latest on your headlines here as you work into the weekend. Plus, we'll check in with Fitchburg EMS, talking flu versus COVID. So big push to get your flu shot. Got mine yesterday. Feels like Andrew punched me in the arm. That's all I'm saying. Department of Ag, Trade, Consumer Protection. We're going to check in with Laura as well on a two-part piece. We'll start with interview one today, talking about election scams. Want to make sure that you're not scammed when it comes to election time and getting the appropriate and right information out there for you. Monday, we'll talk about elections themselves and making sure that you have and know everything there is. And how to protect yourself as you do vote this year. So, boy, I mean, a lot of fun here as we kick off this TF show. So let's dive right into the headlines, and we kick off with Halloween fun. Andrew's already got the whole kids packed up for this event. Looking for some Halloween fun? Pick up your Halloween-themed takeaway bags. Yeah, it's like an activity bag and so much more. Ages 2 to 5 and 6 to 12, available on the 24th outside the Fitchburg Library's main entrance. Limit 1 per child while supplies last. And I do want to emphasize while supplies last. The residents here in Fitchburg, you are awesome at coming out to the Fitchburg Public Library, as it were. And I'm just saying, you're going to want to get there early because without the Halloween hunt this year, people are definitely looking for ways to get involved in some Halloween activities. So pretty cool the library is doing this, but that limit 1 per child, then it's going to go fast when it does happen. All right, special drop-off locations for absentee ballots coming up this weekend. Clerk's Department will be collecting ballots out at Hugo Jamestown Park from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. this Saturday, the 17th. And next weekend, they'll be out at McKee Farms Park from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we're told they're going to be in bright green vests, so you can't miss them when they're out there at the park. They won't blend in with those all the trees and the leaves coming down from the high winds tomorrow. So come on out if you're looking to drop off your ballot. Then the clerks will bring it back to City Hall here, put it with the rest of them for processing. And speaking of voting, in-person absentee voting hours for the November 3rd general election, that's going to be kicking off next Tuesday. It'll be in the old call room of the Fitchburg Community Center, 5510 Lacey Road. Hours for absentee voting for the November 3rd general election will be as followed. Again, kicking off on Tuesday, October 20th through Friday, October 23rd. That'll be 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then Saturday, October 24th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday, October 25th through October 29th. That's Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then the final day to vote absentee in person is Friday, October 30th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Please make sure you bring a photo ID, your own black ballpoint pen, and of course, we request that you wear a mask. We'll be doing all the cleaning, making sure you're safe when you do come out to vote in person. But again, we do ask if you could vote absentee and get that done before Election Day. That would be so helpful for our staff to make sure everybody stays safe for the election. As far as processing absentee ballots, there's been a lot of questions online, and we wanted to address some of those here. So the processing of absentee ballots, an election inspector checks the Badger book to determine that the absentee voter is qualified voter and has not already voted on election day. An election inspector checks the box next to the voter's name in the Badger books. This inspector then clicks the submit button, and the voter number is issued to the Badger book next to the voter's name. That prevents, again, voting twice. Another inspector puts the assigned number on the envelope and opens the certified envelope. The inspector announces the name of the absentee voter. An inspector carefully removes the ballot in a manner so it does not deface the certificate. And then the inspector feeds the ballot into the tabulator. The tabulator. I just wanted to say that. The tabulating machine, keeping the certificate envelope in alphabetical order. I'm going to talk to our clerk here, Tracy, about that. It's even called the tabulator. Yeah, you're like, whatever. Dane County Voter ID Coalition, also there to help you to make sure if you need help with voting this year, they're here to help. They've got a hotline number at 285-2141. You can be instructed to leave your name, phone number, and municipality you live in. They will return your call within 24 hours. And some of the cool things that they do, they can serve as your witness for absentee ballot. Someone will come actually out to your residence, then give you a ride to the polling location on election day, then give you a ride to drop off your absentee ballot to our office prior to election day. And they can assist with the voter registration process and make sure that you have your form filled out correctly and have a valid proof of residency. So very important, helpful stuff there for voting this year. All right, that does it for our headlines. Coming up next, we open up the digest. We're going to take a look back, talking with Fitchburg EMF Jeff Doslick about flu versus COVID. Next right here on Talking Fitchburg.
¡Sam, Elmo!
Hola, Julia. ¿Estás lista para tocar con nosotros? Yo tocaré mi clarinete.
Y Elmo tocará su tambor. Tambor ruidoso.
Bueno, ya sabes qué hacer, Julia.
Julia sabe.
Dado el autismo de Julia, los sonidos pueden ser muy fuertes.
Y hace música a su manera. ¡A tocar!
La detección temprana del autismo puede hacer una diferencia de por vida. Conoce más sobre la detección temprana en detecciondeautismo.org.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps. Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today is Jeff Doslick, your Deputy Chief at Fitchburg EMS. Jeff, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's been a while.
It has been a while, but we're glad you're here today, and we're going to talk today about COVID and the flu as we turn the corner here into what would normally be the flu season. We would be talking about getting your flu vaccine and all of that, but you add in COVID this year. It's going to be a little bit more complicated for many reasons. But Jeff, during this time, what do you guys normally do when you're preparing, as we're getting into the flu season? Are you telling the medic, like we train in the medics, recapping here, the flu, the treatment plan, all of that, what goes in behind the scenes?
Yeah, I think if you take a look at the flu and the COVID-19, they're really similar in the type of presentation that they make to us. So they're both a contagious respiratory illness, but they're caused by different viruses. COVID-19 is an infection caused by the coronavirus or the SARS-CoV-2. And then the flu is caused by an influenza virus. So, but the symptoms of the flu and COVID-19 are fairly similar, and it's hard to really kind of tell the difference between the two. So really the only way that somebody can do that is to go and get a test, a COVID test or a test for the flu. So what we tell our medics is take the same precautions that you would take with any respiratory patient. For us, probably from now until the foreseeable future, they're going to have they'll have a surgical mask on. They'll have a surgical mask on all patients, especially patients that present with respiratory symptoms. They may have an N95 mask on. Of course, they're going to wear gloves. They will ask patients to wear a mask as well if they're able to tolerate one, especially going into the hospital. And with the uptick in the coronavirus, the hospitals are a little bit more sensitive to patients just coming in without a mask on. So we'll still take the necessary precautions that we've been taking with COVID-19 for those that just may have the flu.
Jeff, I think we've talked about in the past of when to call 911, when not to call 911 would be part of the education piece here. But given that they are similar in fashion, when should you call 911 versus calling a doctor, whether it is flu or COVID, which you won't know. You honestly won't know.
Right. I think it's kind of depending on what your symptoms are. Obviously, if you're having respiratory, severe respiratory distress, you're having chest pain, you're running a fever. Those are things that are going to happen with both the flu and with COVID-19. If it's to the point where you've contacted your doctor, you may not be able to get in for some time to get a test done. That might be the time to call. It's just the onset of symptoms. They unless you're in really severe respiratory distress, there's really not much that we're going to be able to do. Transport you to the hospital, maybe do an albuterol treatment, start an IV on you, and give you some fluids. Obviously, if you're dehydrated, you haven't been eating very well, or if you happen to have nausea and vomiting, or you have the diarrhea that could make you susceptible to dehydration, then that's a really good time to call those older adults in our community that are suffering from flu-like symptoms and are having those things of diarrhea and nausea and vomiting. Certainly call so that we can get you in to make sure that you don't get dehydrated, which cause other problems.
On the flip side here, do the medics and do you guys offer flu vaccines to all the medics if they want to take it? And what other safety measures do you put in place for staff for people who may not know? You have a pretty thorough plan when it comes if somebody was exposed to COVID, but it sure plays the same role as somebody was sick with the flu.
Right. So as of a year and a half or 2 years ago, I think we had stopped offering flu vaccines to the staff for a number of different reasons. We found that most of the staff were getting their flu shots outside of work, places like Walgreens and some of the other spots that you can get flu vaccines that insurance paid for. What we found, just kind of from a cost perspective, is that the flu vaccine is somewhere around $25, and we would buy a bulk of vaccine and they would sit in the refrigerator and nobody would get them, and then they'd expire. So we found that we weren't giving enough here in order to offer to the staff consistently. So, but we do encourage them to go get a flu vaccine. Obviously, I just got mine the other day, so to go out there and get that vaccine. But as far as us offering it, as of 2 years ago, we offered it.
Yeah, and whether you get it or not, you still you guys are promoting safety again. That you'll have a healthy medic that shows up, or EMS official that shows up. And talking with you already talked about the PPE and stuff that the staff have on. Does cleaning, keeping the ambulance clean and stuff probably looks a little bit different than it did last year. Although, again, I can safely say that, knowing from doing it, you clean the ambulance no matter what, and that it's always got to stay as much sterile as possible. But what does that look like now in the COVID world?
Sure. Yeah, so just to go back, we do encourage people to get the flu vaccine. Obviously, it does show a risk, reduced in risk of the flu illness, hospitalizations. It's probably more important now than ever before that people get the vaccine and make sure that they're taking care of themselves. As far as the ambulance is concerned, obviously with COVID-19, the last 6-7 months we've been very diligent in making sure that each morning the crew is not only wiping all the equipment down, but we do have a spray that we spray on all the surfaces in the ambulance. It does kill the coronavirus. It actually kills most viruses other than C. diff. And so the crews are taking that precaution. They take the precaution after all of the calls, and anything that obviously is non-disposable that is used on a patient gets wiped down thoroughly. We have seen an increase in, our cost of COVID due to PPE costs going up and the lack of being able to get some of it, especially early on. For example, a case of gloves went up over $50 over the last 6 months. So, we try to clean, we try to use gloves that are, not gloves that we would use on a patient, but more things that we might find inside, a restaurant, something that's, not, a patient-oriented type glove to save a little bit of money. But in the end, the safety of our staff and the safety of our patients and our community is the utmost on our list. So we do what we can to make sure everything is clean.
Jeff, thank you so much for talking through all of this. You guys, the men and women of Fitchburg EMS are here to help you in any way, and thank you to you and to all the staff there for a continued great job, great work. I know the mental stress and physical stress of the job definitely takes its toll, but thank you, and thanks for sharing the information.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, the staff has been phenomenal. It is, I don't get out on the ambulance as much as I have in the past, but every time that they go out there, we're always cautious of what we might be going into. But with COVID-19 and now the flu season and making sure everything is clean, it does get a little bit stressful. And we worry about their health, we worry about the health of our community, and we still have to go on calls. So we do the best we can to protect them. And we have systems in place in the event that people do get sick, especially if they contact COVID-19 and or they start passing the virus through family members. The precautions that we take inside the station are still, wearing masks and all that kind of stuff. So I give, both Patrick and I are really appreciative of the staff and the hard work that they put in.
All right, fantastic. Jeff Doslick, Fitchburg EMS. Jeff, we'll look forward to talking real soon.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.
You as well. We'll check back in with Jeff a little bit later, and we always appreciate their time. And again, thank you to everybody out there in public safety for what you're doing. We certainly appreciate it. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from the Department of Trade Consumer Protection, it's our friend, Laura Sutherland. Laura, welcome back to the show. How are you doing this beginning of October?
I'm doing all right. So far, so good. Can't complain.
No doubt. It's a beautiful time of the year, and while the cold temperatures are coming in, something that always happens in October is Cybersecurity Month, and we're going to get to that as we move through this month of great topics. But we are in election season, only a few weeks away here from wrapping up, and your group has put out a lot of great resources on election scams, prevention, and outreach. And we wanted to definitely take the time to go through all what's out there, what you're seeing, and things to be on the lookout for. So get us started off. What are you seeing or hearing out there as far as scams go?
That's right. So we're getting lots of information about elections. There are candidates, there are organizations that want our attention, and a lot of them are obviously very legitimate. So the challenge for your viewers is to figure out, when are they questionable and not giving the accurate information, and when are they just outright scams. And it's a little hard to tell, frankly. But what I will say at the outset is what I say probably every time we visit: you should go to trusted sources of information. So if you want to know a whole host of things about the election, most of it you can find on myvote.wisconsin.gov. And I'll probably repeat that website 10 times in this segment.
I feel like I've been saying it for the last a year and a half now. I have said it more than I could ever imagine.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's a great wealth of information about deadlines, how you register, how you get absentee, the whole bit. But main point, go to sources of information you trust for the information that you need. That is the most important thing. So what are we seeing? There are lots of folks out there looking to get you to donate to their organizations, to their candidate. Obviously, that's a part of election season. It's totally legitimate, and it's going to happen. But anytime we see legitimate requests, that's when the scammers come in and try to pretend like they are also legitimate and steal your personal identifying information and your donations. So scammers can spoof a phone number like anybody else. So some of you have caller ID, most of us have caller ID. It will say that it is a particular candidate or particular organization. That could be a scam. It isn't to say that it is, but it very well could be. So that is not a foolproof method to know who's calling you. So how do you avoid it? Well, frankly, you can avoid unsolicited calls, making donations to unsolicited calls altogether. If you are on a conversation with someone and they sound legitimate and you want to donate to them, we still encourage you not to make that donation on the phone, but to hang up and go to the organization's website or go to the candidate's website and make sure you've done your research and it's a legitimate organization. You know, avoid trying to engage with those unsolicited calls and texts and emails until you've had an opportunity to verify that it's actually a real thing. And so that, you know, again, go to trusted sources of information.
Yeah, that's if that wasn't probably wrapping up on all of the key points today is really finding that legit company or that legit source to make sure that you are donating to the right place and you are not losing out. Great information, and it's something that you have shared out many times related to a lot of different. We're talking about scams or even in the donation world, so I think that's great. Election surveys. Boy, I don't know if this has been the worst year for it. I just feel like every day I get 10 texts about it. Unwanted, that is. But imposter elections, how do you even know they're legit at this point?
That's a good question. You know, the thing about surveys is they can be legal and legit, but still really annoying. So you know, choose your poison. But real research organizations, they want to take your temperature on this election. They want to know what your political views are. They want to know what you're concerned about. So yes, you're going to get a lot of these calls, and it is okay for them to do it. State law says if you want to know who's paying for this, you're entitled to know that. So if you get a call and they're asking you to do a survey and it's something you want to do, I encourage you to ask them the name and the address and the person in the committee who's paying for the call. You're entitled to know that under state law. If they don't give it to you, then I'd hang up, or maybe if they're illegitimate, they'll hang up when you ask for that information. The other thing that is illegal is these ideas. Well, not illegal, but unfortunate are these push polls, right? Where they're trying to they're cloaked as a survey, but really they're trying to influence your position, and they're feeding you information through the survey to sway you one way or another. So we just think, as a general matter, if you're talking to folks on the phone, you should inquire, ask them who they are, who's paying for this, and who they're working for. Now, if it's a scam and it's not just somebody trying to influence your vote, but it's a total scam, that's when you're going to see inquiries for information that an election survey shouldn't be asking you. And that's your personal identifying information. Clearly, if they ask you for any money, that is a scam. If they offer you incentives to do it, also we encourage folks not to engage in that, because that could very well be a scam. It isn't to say that it's illegal for someone to offer you money to participate in a survey, but those surveys could turn into a scam situation if there's exchange of gift cards and money involved. And so we encourage you not to engage. And the reality is, if someone is paying you to participate in a survey, then it sort of undermines the level of authenticity of the survey in any event. But, if $10 is important enough to you to do a survey, that's your choice, obviously. And again, it's not illegal. But we do encourage folks to try to avoid these kind of exchange of gift cards and money to do surveys, because oftentimes they can be scams and not legitimate.
My guess too is if you're some of these might ask you to fill in some information, and then you're starting to go down the identity theft road too, because you don't know how they're going to use that information against you. And I think it opens you up to a world of hurt if you don't really know who and what and how. And that fine print on some of these things, I don't know, just
right,
hard
right.
to believe.
In order to get the gift or the gift certificate or gift card, you're right, you're having to give personal information. Absolutely a red flag. Absolutely.
We're gonna leave it here. We're gonna pick up next time specifically on voting when we talk to you next. So appreciate the time. If people want to learn more about DATCP, how to report these and more, where can they go?
They can call us at our hotline at 1-800-422-7128. Great folks at the end of that line with good resources on all kinds of things, particularly this. And then you can file a complaint if you think you've been victim of a scam at datcp.wi.gov. It'll take you to a complaint form and you can file one online.
And I've done it. It's easy. Your team is very fast at getting through it. Not saying that there can always be fast at the investigation part, but it definitely helps out your organization to fight these scams and more. Laura, thank you so much for your time. As always, we'll check back with you later this month.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
You bet. And as I said, we're going to pick up this conversation more into the voting end of things the next time we get Laura back on the show. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg. Perfect.
We scored?
Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
What? I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride.
Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
I'm gonna need that back.
No.
Kevin!
Gaining weight was easy. All I had to do was sit down and eat. Losing weight's a lot harder. I have to work at it every day. But with every step, I lower my risk for type 2 diabetes and heart disease. And that makes every step, every choice, every day very much worth the effort.
Learn how you can help stop diabetes by losing weight, eating healthy, and staying active. Visit checkupamerica.org or call 1-800-DIABETES.
Wrapping up the show for today, I want to thank our friends at Department of Trade Consumer Protection. Laura, she'll be back on Monday to talk more about the voting side of things for the election. Make sure you stay safe. And, of course, we appreciate Jeff Doslick's time, as always, as we took a look back at, again, COVID versus the flu. As we wrap up for the weekend, you can put your feet up and know that you can check out Fact TV anywhere through our great media outlets. Stay connected with us all weekend long. Have a safe, fun, and bundle up weekend.